Conservative men have not been hiding their like basic hatred of women, especially on platforms like Twitter. Now, you guys know I've really tried to reduce my usage on Twitter, and I've deleted it off my phone. I'd say I've reduced my usage by about maybe over 95%. Sometimes I do go on it though, because I just want to, you know, grasp what the conversation is. And something that was going around recently on Twitter, which I think highlights a lot of things I've spoken about on this channel, was there are a couple like TikToks of women complaining that they basically couldn't find a man who like suited their standards or whatever. And the comments weren't sympathetic. It seems like a thing conservative male Twitter likes to do, is just laugh at women's misery when it comes to this stuff. And in that, it reveals a lot. But also, there were people replying saying, well, this woman would never date me, someone who has a lot to offer her, like, financially. Like, I'm a veteran, I'm retired, I have a pension and stuff. All that stuff makes me good. Or, like, I'm 6'3", that makes me, like, worthy. And all the replies talking about this makes it clear that men, specifically, still don't understand what makes someone attractive in a relationship, especially conservative men, because they're acting like it's all like a financial proposition. And as you're going to see in some of these replies, they're talking about these women being lonely because feminism has basically tricked them, because it said, oh, you don't have to conform, you don't have to be like your parents or grandparents and just marry someone very young, give up your life, give up your job, have children, and that's basically your role. May think that's a good thing. And now these women are like lonely and can't find a man. They're like, well, we told you feminism was bad. But we've covered the trad wife stuff on this channel, and we know that's not a good thing. And so many of you guys who have family members like myself who were in those more traditional relationships will tell you, yeah, it's a bad thing and often has bad outcomes. But then what's so funny about these guys saying it is that like neoliberal capitalism has also sold them a lie, and they don't realize it. Because from what they're saying, they all think they're entitled to find a partner based on their finances and not bring anything to the table emotionally, in terms of personality, in terms of just everything outside the realms of finances. Because they've been told their entire life, if you like get a good job, if you have a home, stable income, then that is like half the battle in actually finding a relationship. And this is why they actually hate things like feminism, because now relationships are less and less a financial proposition, because yeah, women can have their own careers and don't need a man financially, right? But they wish this world still existed, so they have another string to their bow of basically trapping women in these relationships. And it is scary that so many of these still think like this, because there's lots of them saying we should get rid of no-fault divorce. Essentially, let's make it far harder for women to leave like terrible marriages with men in general, but in this instance, we're talking mainly about conservative men. So I want to talk about these two examples and what they reveal. Before we go any further, please follow me on social media at @theCavanaugh.com. Both my Instagrams, my personal and my channel Instagram. Check me out on Threads and Blue Sky. We are talking about Twitter here, but I don't really use Twitter that much, so follow me there if you want, if I don't really care. And also check out my Patreon page, support me, try to build up as many wonderful as possible, and get access to the Discord server if you are a patron. So like I said, it seems to be a pastime for American conservative men to just post a woman complaining about how she can't like get a meaningful relationship and basically laughing at it and blaming feminism. So in this, the TikTok user, and I think this is a beautiful person called Ryan Spencer, or maybe it's a repost, I don't know. And basically this woman is just basically talking about how all her friends are in relationships, they're all happy, and she's had a very successful life. She's got it all sorted, pretty much, apart from she can't find someone to share this nice life with. It's 3 minutes long, but I'll play you some of the relevant parts.
Like, I am so sick and tired of just...
We've taken all the zones. Feel free to celebrate.
Right now. I have literally convinced myself at this point, based on everything that everyone's telling me, my therapist, my family, my friends, that I'm just doing everything wrong. I'm healing wrong. I'm thinking wrong. I'm training wrong. I'm doing relationships wrong. Everything I do is fucking wrong, and I'm so sick of it. Stop comparing. It's not even about comparison. Like, I genuinely just want love in my life so badly.
Amigos capturing zone C.
It's literally not about anyone else. It's just about me and what I want. I feel Like, I have done so much work on myself. I have built a beautiful life for myself. I'm happy with my life where I'm at, my job. I'm successful, I'm independent. I'm healthier than I've ever been. Truly the only thing I'm missing in my life is someone to enjoy it with. And I'm so sick of waiting. Like, when is it going to be my turn? What more do I have to do where I'm allowed to meet this universe soulmate person that God supposedly has for me? How much harder do I have to pray and manifest and wait? I don't expect a lot. I just want love in my life so bad. I want my life partner. Am I just supposed to be alone? Like, is that the message? That this beautiful life I've built for myself, like, it's just supposed to be me in it alone? All of my friends have their fiancés, their boyfriends, and their husbands that they prioritize. Like, as far as I'm concerned, I've been left behind. And I really just want to find that person that matches my energy and wants to build a life.
I don't think she's specifically referencing dating apps, but that's like part of the problem. And you're going to see the dating app thing come up a lot in this video, so I might as well address it. So this person's talking about how they can't find someone compatible. And I sympathise with that to some degree. Like, I've been in a long-term relationship, pretty much since dating apps were even a thing, with my girlfriend who I met in high school. And I was thinking about this recently. So if we ever broke up, would I even want to date again, like in any capacity in like the near future, like a couple years after that? And I'm just thinking, like, no, because the dating landscape at the moment seems really unappealing in terms of dating apps. And I know what I'm like personally, and not how picky I am, but how hard it is to find someone you really vibe with. And I know that because of how hard I've actually found making friends as I've gotten older. Now, I still have a lot of friends, and I'm thinking about, I'm actually going to something at the weekend with a lot of my friends, but I was thinking about, what age did I make friends with them? So the earliest ones there, I made friends when I was about 5 years old. So that was in primary school. And then secondary school for a lot of the others, so about 12 years old. And a few of them about like 16 years old. And we like mixed classes. But nearly every single person I'm meeting at this thing, I've been friends with since school in some capacity. And for a lot of reasons, it's actually good to still have your school friends because you're all so different, but you still get on. You get that nice variety. But then I was thinking like outside of that, when I actually had to make friends in like real world,
guerrilla warfare was easy, there'd be a lot fewer
how hard or easy did I find it? Well, I think I made 4 real friends in the whole university. Like, sure, you have like those like mates that you might go drinking with or go to the pub with. In terms of actual friends you stay in contact with after you finish, yeah, for me it's about 4 people, and I'd say about 3 people from people who I made friends with based on vibe, based on like shared interest. And I actually pretty much knew within about a minute I was going to be friends with these people. I'm just like, I'm super picky when it comes to friends, and I will know within a minute if I'm going to be a friend or not. And if I expand that to relationships, I can understand how hard it is. And we see a lot of these comments they're saying pickiness. And I don't think you can tell someone who's looking for like a life partner that they're picky. They know themselves. They know what works. And they want to find someone who's compatible so it doesn't lead to problems in the future. And you want to get as compatible as possible. Sure, you'll have differences. There'll probably be problems in your relationship that you have to resolve. But you want to get at close. Like, I'm sure for a lot of people, you'd rather be single than be with someone you don't really like and you're just doing it for the sake of things. And we all know that is in even more common in older generations where they did just settle because of, you know, various things we've already spoke about. But anyway, that's kind of my take on this. Obviously, I'm super sympathetic to anyone who finds it hard. And I also like these videos as well because a lot of like incel-adjacent talking points allow men to dominate the narrative that we are so lonely. It only affects us. Women have the pick of every single guy. They can never be lonely. They can never feel this isolation and stuff, right? So this is why I like these videos. It proves to these people, or it should prove, that this isn't uniquely related to men. This guy who posted it said, all she wants to find a man and she's sitting by waiting. Then asks Grok, Twitter's like right-wing AI.
Enemy spy activated
says,
sonar
there are 2
goggles.
types of narcissism,
that
grandiose
back
and
when I was
vulnerable.
KGB.
Grandiose narcissists are typically arrogant, confident, and assertive, while vulnerable narcissists are more insecure, sensitive, and self-conscious. Both types share a core belief in their own superiority and need validation from others. So that's what he's saying. In response to this video I showed you, this person is a narcissist because they can't find someone to share their life with. How does that make someone any type of narcissist? Yet another modern woman who prioritized career, nice new cars and success over starting a family. She fell for it just like the rest, and you'll see this a lot. My heart actually breaks for her. She's been sold a bill of goods through feminism, and the route society has gone. We all need and deserve love. I still get angry at these women, but every now and then I just have pity for them. Obviously, I'm not suggesting they are to take zero accountability and that it's everyone else's fault for the situation, but they were lied to by those closest to them, and they should have been there to protect them. So obviously, I know what the alternative these people are suggesting. It's like women don't have careers anymore. What I always find so funny about the criticism of feminism through some sort of like weirdly like anti-capitalist lens, but just for women, is that they say, oh yeah, having a career, working for the man, it's also soul destroying. Wouldn't it be better if you just like started a family and focus on the family? Things that are more important, right? But they never apply this to the overall system of, oh yeah, it's all bullshit. It pretty much all means nothing for men and women, so we should be free to do what we want. But it's like, no, it's soulless and bad for women, so please become a baby machine and my maid instead. That sounds like freedom. But of course for these men, it's all about control. But here is an interesting comment I saw go a bit viral. He says it, but I think he's meant to say I'm a 5'7" dude who's a manager at Amazon warehouse making 55k annual. That would give her the world, but she probably thinks she can do better. That's an issue with a lot of y'all. And here's the whole problem with this mindset. It's like this weird victim mindset, right? She's saying she can't find a relationship. He's already basically saying he wouldn't be good enough because he's an average person. He's 5'7", he makes 55k dollars a year, and he would give her the world. Obviously this comment is weird because it's like, you know, reeks of like desperation. You don't even know this person. Why would you give them the world? Oh, it's because she's like fairly attractive, right? These kind of like incel adjacent talking points is always about like, oh, it's the woman's fault. You don't know anything about this person. She never said, oh, I was dating a guy, I found out he worked at Amazon and I rejected him, or I reject everyone who's like shorter than the average man. No, you're just projecting your own insecurity on this comment. But even talking about your income and job in relation to how much of a match you are for someone in the dating world. Like again, it's just so insane. You're prioritizing the wrong things. A lot of people don't care what you do as a job because that's not what they're looking for in a partner. Like sure, are there people out there who will see these things you just mentioned as deal breakers? I can't date anyone who only dates that. I'm like, yeah, sure there will be. But again, this person says she's looking for someone to share their life with, so it's pretty clear. They're talking mainly about companionship, personality and stuff. So even if this guy led with that, it'd still be a bit weird. But I'm saying for these men, no one cares. No one cares what your job is. And I'm pretty sure, especially for a lot of left-wing people, if I went back in the dating world, I really wouldn't care what someone's like, job is or income. Like sure, as you get older, you do have to worry more about financial stuff, potentially buying a house or rent, or maybe not being in a marriage or relationship with loads of debt and stuff. But I feel like that is thinking really far down the road. Most people in the world work just very, very standard jobs. Jobs that probably don't quite that much, jobs that probably don't pay that well. But I think most people realise that is just the reality of living under capitalism. But yeah, you don't have to leave these things, because these aren't the primary choices. And for a lot of people, they don't matter either. They're not good or bad, it's just your life, right? And if you're a nice person, a great partner, you could be funny, very sensitive, caring, not someone who sees himself as a victim and blames a woman they don't even know for not giving them a chance, then yeah, you might have a bit more success in the dating world. Now, a lot of people were roasting this guy in the comments, but a lot of people were also agreeing with him. But there's another TikTok just like this. So I don't want to play everything in this woman's story, but she just talks about like the struggle of going out, meeting new people, trying to meet a guy, and how it's just been a bit of a disaster. A bit similar to the last one, obviously like very emotional. I'll play you a little bit of it.
Like, I don't want to go out again. I'm tired of it. I'm over it. I'm sick of it. When I try, like, shit like this happens in dating app stuff. And then I get into an Uber on the way home because I can't go have a drink like I wanted to because I have this giant fucking bag full of shit to carry around. And I get in this Uber and it's this 75-year-old woman with her dogs. And she won't stop talking about her dogs and like how she got an oil change and what'd you do tonight? Was the comedy show good? And like I'm being nice and polite, but all I can think about is like this is gonna be me. And I know that's the worst case scenario. And it's not even like that's a terrible thing to be single all your life, but like I just can't help but feel like
I require
I'm gonna
first
turn
aid.
into this because
Amigos,
I've never
capture
known
zone C.
someone. And for everybody who's gonna tell me,
Enemy is attacking Zone B. Capture zone
I've been
contested.
hearing that
Zone's ours now.
like 7 years, okay? I'm so sick of hearing that. There's such a thing as people that just don't find their person, don't get married. So like I'm a realist. And the realist in me is starting to think like that's gonna be me. And I'm stressed out over it.
Took him out.
So again, that's similar to the last one, and obviously references dating apps more explicitly, which, you know, I'm totally sympathetic to as well, especially as dating apps get just spoken about, like bringing AI into it, and just, you know, how mentally tiring as someone who doesn't know that, imagine it must be to just keep going on loads of random dates with people you meet online, and then for some reason or another just not vibing with them. As someone myself who has always been so picky with friends and everything,
We're
and has
taking
a
zone A.
standard that I have before I get close
Amigos
to someone
capturing zone
in any
C.
capacity. You can totally understand how this would be like an absolute nightmare. Like the
Zone contested.
the thought of just going on all these dates, like it's like a
Capture
goal
zone is
to me,
ours now.
just gives me anxiety even thinking about it. And yeah, if I was ever single again, I definitely wouldn't bother to. I literally rather be single than deal with that. And it must be terrible for your self-esteem as well, the constant rejection or the constant just, you know, rejecting people because you're not feeling it. Because I know that would make me feel bad and feel like I've wasted everyone's time. So yeah, very sympathetic to this, and again, shows
The enemy is attacking Zone B. Zone B is in danger.
It's not just men who suffer from this, because it's a general isolation problem, rather than it's just men all being lonely and can't get dates. But don't worry, men act normal about this. So this account's saying, forget the pandemic, there is a literal epidemic of women who cannot find anyone they want to be with. It feels like we're at the precipice of a radical new cultural reality that is changing so fast that most people do not have the capacity to keep up. And the comments say, a large swath of women have developed unrealistic expectations that most men will never meet. Lots of men are seeing that, and instead of trying to be the best version of themselves, they're like, what's the point of give up? It's a vicious cycle, and it's sad to watch. It's not that they can't find anyone, it's being a man over 6 foot, and that's 14% of the
We're
US
losing
population.
Zone A!
Built like a brick house, 40% gone, making 100k, that's 70% of men. Don't be surprised when unrealistic expectations mean not being chosen. And again, for a lot of men, if this is your mindset, I'm sorry, it's just not going to work
Keep
out,
up the
because
fight.
it just
We're claiming
roots in
A.
insecurity that you think
seizing
you're
Zone
not
C.
successful
Zone
with women
compromised.
because you're not
They're
over 6
moving on
foot,
B.
built like a brick shit house, and making over $100,000. And I
Zone's
know,
ours now.
like a lot of people know, I know so many
Liberate
of my
all
friends
zones from
who are
enemy
dudes
occupation.
who've never had any trouble dating at all. And they've had
Amigos,
absolutely none of these. But yeah, this kind
Ultra's ready.
of like boiling this down to a science. And again, it's all superficial, isn't it? If you're very muscly, over 6 foot, and have
Zone is ours
100k,
now.
you'll be so successful with women. These people just don't live in the real world. They're thinking about like influencer culture or something, because that's the only thing I can imagine for these people, why they think they can't get dates at all. But yeah, men, if you feel like this, some random man watching this, please just don't buy into this narrative about all women only want guys meeting this criteria. Because I can tell you, speaking to women about dating and stuff, most of them don't care about this stuff. They're looking for someone emotionally compatible, right? It's super clear to anyone who
We're trying
comes
to
like
take
this.
C.
Just spoken
Don't
to.
compromise.
Now this is the post that inspired the video, and this covers some other stuff as well about like just people being able to sense a conservative man when you meet him. So this guy writing, my app experience, I'm 6'2", 205 pounds. Dude, like what? Like, I don't understand why that's relevant. I'm also 6'2", I'm 185 pounds. I would never feel that's relevant to my
Don't think you
experience
can lose at
in
this point.
dating.
I've
Like,
already
why are
started
you
celebrating.
leading with that? I guess he's trying to counter the narrative of like, you know, I am a guy who's in good shape and I'm tall when I'm still struggling. I just think it's really good. All my hair and teeth, that's good. Fit, decently okay looking, retired veteran with full benefits, my own place at a beach, my own business. It's all superficial, it's all surface level. None of these things make you a good candidate for a partner inherently, because you say nothing about your emotion, nothing about how you treat your partner, and nothing about your personality at all. You could be super nice, but also super boring. You could be like a lot of fun, you could have a good time socially, but then you could be, I don't know, very closed off emotionally. And
In my day, I tried to stay under the radar, but
yeah, that's all well and good. I'm glad for you. Glad you own some property. Glad you have a house. Glad you have benefits and stuff, even though you have to serve the war machine to get them. But yeah, I don't know how it's irrelevant. But in my 3 years of dating apps, I matched with tons of chicks. Maybe 3 willing to meet in person. Never went anywhere. Again, this mindset of, because I'm 6'2", 205 pounds, have a bit of money and I have some property, that means I should be successful in dating apps. It's just so insane. I do feel bad if men sold this narrative by neoliberalism. You have to be financially successful to get partners, rather than focusing on yourself, maybe going to therapy if you have some issues, and understanding what makes a good partner. It's not financial assets, it's not your height, nor is it your weight. But a lot of people were tweeting about this, good and bad. To start with, it was good. Like, loads of really weird male accounts saying stuff like this. To understand the scope of the modern marriage problem, he lists all of his checkpoints, this guy. Special operations veteran, fit, full head of hair, owns a home on a beach, owns a business, 3 dating app matches, who would meet over 3 years. Like, again, what is wrong with these guys? Full head of hair? Does that compensate for all the flaws you might have emotionally in the relationship? And special operations veteran, I'm sorry guys, for a lot of people, being a Spec Ops veteran for like the most immoral military in the world probably isn't a green flag. You've almost certainly done some pretty horrible, questionable shit. And rightly so, a lot of people might be turned off by that. And again, this guy seeks to blame the women. At some point, we have to look at the freedoms and liberation provided in the revolution and think about whether they are worth it. Is it more or less likely for more children to be born and to grow up with their grandparents' love? Isn't that a good unto itself? So, yeah, women, you should settle for men just because they're tall, have hair, and a house. Despite any red flags, despite any history of being quite violent in their career, just because more children can be born and they can grow up with their grandparents' love. Again, these arguments aren't working. I don't think you're going to be convincing too many women that guys like this deserve a shot. Now, rightly so, people were a bit skeptical of this because he posted for himself. Lots of people say,
Rule number 6.
Your age, you're good looking,
There's
stuff
always
like that.
another
But then
war,
frankly, someone
another
spoke out.
cantina,
Honestly, it's your politics.
another
And your
capture
racist
zone.
personality. Women are attracted to men already enslaved to a certain set of ideas because generally we aren't seeing whole people because of
Defend
it.
them to the
He replies, do you really think I talk politics over a dating app? Someone replies, absolutely. And then someone thankfully put, you list stuff you do and what you look like, but nothing about who you are or what and how you think. You aren't really providing any insight into what kind of person you are, which is kind of important when deciding on who you want to date and take a chance on meeting. I'm saying just go to Latin America and you'll be married by the end of the week. I know. So when I saw that, I'm already like, oh, so he thinks, you know, I'll go to Latin America, do this passport bro stuff. That could work if I wanted it to, because that's how I view women abroad. They all just love American men so much that I can just go there and like rescue one of them and make them my partner. But yeah, lots of people like, you know, this guy's giving me bad vibes, and I even tried with Twitter for 2 seconds. He's liking loads of writings like anyway, straight away. Look at this quote. So, the fastest way to solve an idea is to toss you a change in the road and let the locals do it for you. Hardest meme I've seen in a long time. Good night. My dude, I think women might be able to sense you might have some issues if you're a Spec Ops veteran who's liking stuff about people chucking money in roads in poor places. And the meme isn't saying like, see if they go because they might know where they are. It's like, nah, so they can settle in infinity because their lives are worthless. That's a green flag, man. I'm really surprised women won't give you a chance despite you having a full head of hair and having some property. He also liked a lot of tweets like this. All these people trying to tear him down, make him humble because he's attractive. And most likely people find his looks intimidating, which is why no one approaches him. And he liked it. I'm glad he was able to admit he's attractive, but he struggles with meeting people as well. Someone saying a lot of miserable, ugly, fat fucks getting mad at him in the quotes and comments. And then if you go on his likes even more, he's interacting with Mark Cernovich and Jesse Kelly and just liking loads of right-wingers blowing smoke up his ass. And again, people can just sense this. People can sense this. And when you're interacting with like far-right conservatives who are talking about getting rid of feminism and talking about how that's bad for women because they shouldn't just be baby machines, people can sense that. And I know some people might be very naive. If you are sensitive to politics in any way, even on like a societal level, not straight up like political theory, you can sense it. Like my Tory radar has pretty much never been wrong. It's been wrong one time. A salesman in my office who is a Tory is actually a communist, right? That's the one time I can think of where I didn't understand some politics. To me, I can see someone like tribes and know like pretty much their values and stuff, right? So if you're a guy like this,
we're role models to guerrilla niñas and niños everywhere.
surrounded by
zone is ours now. They're going after zone C.
As equal and facing all the other shit, I'm really not surprised that you haven't had success. And to a lot of these people, it's shocking. I'm fairly good looking, I'm tall and shape and have money. Why can't I get because you might have a trash personality and you're actually conservative, which a lot of women now, especially younger ones now in America, that's a massive red flag. People saying, even talking about Jordan Peterson and Joe Rogan on a date being a red flag, that's not just like a meme on Twitter. That is a serious thing. But if you go on his actual profile, I'm not going to read all these out, but you see like loads of right-wing tweets, people been finding them, the way he spoke about women, pretty sexist as well. I showed you some of his likes. And considering the political landscape in America, you just can't be a conservative and not have that wrapped up with tons of misogyny. And like I was saying, the whole point of the video, conservatives are blaming feminism basically, that they can't get dates. They're blaming the empowerment of women to not rely on men anymore, to break out of this tram-like dynamic that was forced on most of them, to actually have some sort of financial independence by and large. And that means, because of that, they can be far more picky with who they date, or just decide not to have a partner if they don't want to. But their reaction to that is not I should better myself, make myself more attractive as a partner. It's that, oh no, I'm blaming feminism because the stuff that would give me access to a marriage and a relationship like 40, 50 years ago, that doesn't work anymore. And that's actually bad because if I want to have a relationship, I actually have to work on myself to make myself more emotionally compatible and attractive to women now. And for a lot of men, I feel bad because obviously because of patriarchy, a lot of men don't do this. We don't go to therapy, we don't look at our flaws, we blame everyone else because we've been sold, as men especially, in neoliberal capitalism, this like kind of trajectory of work hard, get a good job, have a lot of money, fit into a certain masculine mold, and then finding a partner is no problem.
We've taken on the zones. Feel free to celebrate.
Have to be a good person who cares about other people, who fancies a relationship, and they just don't like it. I would say to any man watching this, does feel like that, please just reevaluate because you're never going to get anywhere thinking financial success equals entitlement to a partner, because it just doesn't. And more people just don't give a shit.
We're moving on B. Our side's winning. Don't let up.
And it's all about your emotional maturity and not bringing a bunch of issues into relationships. But anyway, that is it for the video. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments, and if you made it this far, thank you.
Liberate all zones from enemy occupation!
Another day and another far-right institution has been embroiled in a massive scandal, and this time it's one of the bigger far-right media outlets, one that has billboards in major cities across the United States. They claim it's the #1 most trusted source.
They'll just straight up send you the newspaper without you even asking for it.
There you go. And these articles have been shared very frequently by conservative members of our government, and an outlet that, oddly enough, also has direct ties to that weird propaganda dance troupe, Shen Yu.
That's right.
It's the Epoch Times, and they are now under investigation from the U.S. Department of Justice after its chief financial officer, Bill Wan, was charged with bank fraud and conspiracy to commit money laundering in what appears to be a massive operation that flowed directly through the media outlet to the tune of tens of millions of dollars acquired through what appears to be the theft of Americans' unemployment benefits. And if you're asking yourself, I wonder if cryptocurrency is involved somehow. You bet your ass it was.
Of course it was. So the Epoch Times, which was born out of and still operates with direct ties to the Falun Gong religious movement, has been around since the early 2000s, but has exploded in popularity in recent years thanks to the rise of more extreme conservatism coinciding with the election of Donald Trump as president in 2016. It found great reach in spreading countless conspiracy theories and alt-right talking points, including the stolen election narrative, anti-vaxxer propaganda, general disinformation, and, of course, numerous conspiracies listed directly from groups like QAnon. In just the past few years, while nearly every other media company has been hemorrhaging money, the Epoch Times was growing its revenue at a rate that had many people scratching their heads.
Yeah.
Including some pretty unbelievable revenue growth that resulted in a 685% increase in income in 2021 based on tax records. Huh.
Wow.
How did they do that?
Crazy. Kind of suspicious, but I don't know. Maybe just a lot of donations. So people questioned the validity of these numbers well before this recent Justice Department investigation. Now, last October, NBC News ran a story that both demonstrated conservatives' admiration for the outlet, while also questioning how exactly it was becoming so financially successful all of a sudden. Today, the Epoch Times is one of the country's most successful and influential conservative news organizations. Funded through aggressive online and real-world marketing campaigns and big-money conservative donors, the Epoch Times now boasts to be the country's 4th largest newspaper by subscriber count. Anti-vaccine activist and presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. called the Epoch Times a daily read among his most trusted news sources. In July, Representative Ralph Norman, a Republican from South Carolina, recited the history of the Epoch Times into the congressional record. "This is all about one word. Freedom," Norman said.
What the fuck?
They really hitched their wagon to this, and, well, I don't think that they'll have any shame about this coming to light, but they should.
Brendan Steinhauser, a Texas-based Republican strategist, was hired by the Epoch Times in 2018 to open doors to conservative politicians and players. Steinhauser said that a series of interviews and introductions with politicians and media figures at that year's Conservative Political Action Conference offered access to a wider conservative audience. The Epoch Times was a supporting sponsor for this year's conference. As a nonprofit, the Epoch Times is exempt from most federal taxes. Its mission, according to tax filings, is independent journalism, outside of political interests and the pursuit of profit for the public benefit, and to be truly responsible to society. Neither the chairman nor the editor-in-chief of the Epoch Times returned multiple requests for comment. Representatives for the Epoch Times have previously defended it against critical reporting, labeling reports of the paper's conservative mission and its penchant for misinformation smears. Epoch Times representatives also deny any affiliation with Falun Gong, despite the two groups' clear financial and organizational ties. The Epoch Times board members and most staff are Falun Gong practitioners.
And yeah, sorry about all the backstory, but it's important context for the organization and, of course, this latest news. And that report from last year continues, adding, the Epoch Times also employed a tactic more often associated with fake news content farms and scammers than news organizations, creating a network of inspiring and cute content pages and fake accounts to inflate the Epoch Times' reach.
Go claim them zones.
Wait, what?
Keep out the riffraff.
They gotta
They were
get those
just
likes
like-
on Facebook.
They're just like
Moving on
filling
Zone A.
Facebook with spam pages and counting like the fucking boomers who click on that as like Epoch Times readers.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And you can bet your ass that that's happening probably elsewhere with all that AI garbage that's going around on Facebook right now. Did you see the grandma's post?
I don't know. I've seen some weird
It's
shit.
like, I think it's triplets or quadruplets. So like, wish these lovely quadruplets a happy birthday on their 90-something birthday.
Catch his own
And
contestant.
they're all hugging. And one of them's
Zones
head
are.
is on backwards and has 6 fingers. Insane.
They're on zone
But back
B.
to this.
Light
In
'em up.
2019, following reporting by NBC News,
Hey.
Facebook found that the Epoch Times had leveraged foreign actors posing as Americans to push political content and banned it from future advertising, citing a violation of policies, including trying to circumvent review systems. The Epoch Times subscription page began hosting glowing testimonials from Steve Bannon, Glenn Beck, and the far-right Arizona Congressman Paul Gosar. The organization became a reliable source for misinformation around COVID, its treatments, and the vaccines. The Epoch Times was also an early and aggressive promoter of election misinformation, according to the Election Integrity Partnership, a coalition of researchers that documented misinformation and the 2020 vote. And look, there's so much more to all of that, and the full article always linked down in the description below. But some of the other income sources appear to be, donations from Christian nationalist groups, conservative figures, and allegedly just scamming the elderly into subscriptions that they can't get out of.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's why you're still getting it. If someone else lived anywhere before you,
Yeah.
that's a lifetime subscription.
I'd like to
Zone
unsubscribe.
B.
No.
Light 'em
It's
up.
like moving into a. Have you ever moved into a building that had a Scientologist in it?
Yeah, no.
Every mailbox is inundated with
At some
Scientology
point,
flyers.
the
Zone
former
B.
owner of my home at least dabbled in it because they've only sent me a few things over the years. It's like once a year. They're just like, hey,
Catch his own
you still interested? And one of them came with a bunch of DVDs that I'm curious to watch. I have them just sitting somewhere waiting for the right opportunity. But you give those people your information one time. They will never let you escape. But yeah, it looks like those donations and potential scams are not the only reason this otherwise fringe news organization is so financially successful. Because according to the indictment filed by the United States Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York, there was also an absolutely massive amount of money laundering taking place through the org. And they've now indicted the company's chief financial officer for participating in a scheme to launder at least $67 million in fraud proceeds. A lot. Here's a few excerpts from a summary of the indictment from The Guardian. The far-right Epoch Times media company was at the center of a fraudulent money laundering and cryptocurrency scam involving tens of millions of dollars. The Justice Department said on Monday as it announced the indictment of its chief financial officer, Bill Guan. The 61-year-old executive conspired with others to participate in a sprawling transnational scheme to launder at least approximately $67 million of illegally obtained funds, according to a statement from the U.S. Attorney's Office of the Southern District of New York. Proceeds went to the company, it said, and for the personal enrichment of individuals, including Guan, who faces up to 70 years in prison on one count of conspiring to commit money laundering and 2 counts of bank fraud.
61 years old, potentially 70 years in prison. Uh-oh!
We'll have to see how good this Falun Gong stuff is at longevity.
So it continues. Guan is accused of masterminding a scheme in which he managed the media company's Make Money Online team overseas, the Justice Department said. Under Guan's management, members of the team and others used cryptocurrency to knowingly purchase tens of millions of dollars in crime proceeds, including proceeds of fraudulently obtained unemployment insurance benefits that had been loaded onto tens of thousands of prepaid debit cards, the statement said. The proceeds were then allegedly laundered through a certain cryptocurrency platform and turned into digital currency at 70 to 80 cents on the dollar, prosecutors said. Team members then used stolen personal identification information to open accounts and funnel the profits there, and subsequently into accounts held in their own name. So Guan was arrested on Sunday, and we certainly look forward to one of 2 responses from conservative figures who have gleefully promoted this company in the past. Either complete silence while they just wait for this to go away, never acknowledging it, or that this is yet another attack on conservatives from Biden's DOJ, which is a funny way to refer to a department that is currently prosecuting Biden's son.
Yeah, that's the DOJ. That's the trick.
Yeah.
He'd sacrifice his own son just to take down America's favorite newspaper.
We're winning, pal. Keep it up.
But yeah, over in Trump news.
You have Trump news.
Obviously, the news of Trump's conviction on 34 felony counts is still major news. And there was no shortage of coverage, interviews, and think pieces surrounding the case. What should happen next? House Speaker Mike Johnson even went so far as to urge the Supreme Court to step in and overturn the verdict.
Okay.
I do believe the Supreme Court should step in. Obviously, this is totally unprecedented. And it's dangerous to our system. I mean, we've all discussed this before, and you all talk about it all the time. This is diminishing the American people's faith in our system of justice itself.
The verdict has also resulted in the apparent doxing of at least some of the jurors on pro-Trump and alt-right message boards. Who could have seen that coming? As well as doxing and intimidation extending to nearly every other person involved in the case, including Judge Merchan and Michael Cohen. Also, Trump himself alluding to a breaking point for his supporters who have already have a very public and notable history of violence at the behest of their glorious leader.
So, yeah, not great.
They swatted the mother of that DC cop, Fanon, who has been very vocal about the January 6th stuff. He commented after the verdict, and within a couple hours, his 90-year-old mom got fucking swatted. So yeah, the best people. But while Trump definitely enjoys playing the strong man for his followers, it does appear as though some cracks are starting to show, including his attempt at rewriting history when it comes to targeting his political opponents with lawfare. Because Trump, with a straight face, claimed during an interview on Fox News that he's never spoken about locking up Hillary Clinton.
But I would never say such a thing. Lock her up, that would be ridiculous.
I've never said that phrase in my life.
I don't even know that woman.
You did good, pal.
Here's a clip.
Taylor said lock her up, and I felt, and I could have done it, but I felt it would have been a terrible thing And then this happened to me. Hillary Clinton, I didn't say lock her up, but the people don't say lock her up, lock her up. Okay. Then we won. And I said pretty openly, I said, all right, come on, just relax. Let's go. We're going to make our country great.
And yeah, obviously, this is outrageous. This is ridiculous. We all heard him. We all saw him at his rallies. It was a slogan that was used over and over and over ad nauseum. And people were very quick to point this out, alongside video clip compilations of him repeatedly claiming that Hillary should be locked up.
Tell you what, for what she's done, they should lock her up. She's disgraceful. It's disgraceful.
So crooked Hillary, crooked, you should lock her up, I'll tell you.
I'll tell you something, though. It's fair to lock them up. You should lock them up. Lock up the Bidens. Lock up Hillary.
Okay, here's one. Just came out. Lock her up is right.
Of all the things.
That didn't happen. Deep fakes.
Of all the things to blatantly lie about. I mean, this has to take the cake because it's like Trump claiming that he never uttered the phrase, "Make America Great Again."
No, I never said that.
That and lock her up are completely synonymous with the Trump campaign. And it's actually surprising, even for Trump, that he would claim otherwise.
Yeah, this is... Come on.
It's outrageous.
We all heard you say it. What are you doing?
I couldn't believe it when I saw this. I was like, no, that has to be. There has to be more context than that, because he wouldn't just say that he never uttered "lock her up." That would be stupid. Ugh.
But enough about our political insanity. Let's check in on North and South Korea once again, because there's already an update regarding those shit and trash-filled balloons that North Korea has been sending over the border. In case you missed it, please go watch our most recent episode of Weekly Weird News. But basically, North Korea has been sending these shit balloons down south in retaliation for the balloons that have been sent over North Korea for years, which include anti-propaganda pamphlets as well as USB drives with pop on and other such media. Apparently, the balloon wars have gotten so bad that peace agreements have officially been suspended. That's what we were saying.
Yeah, you gotta
fucking chill. This is an escalation.
Yeah, could be worse. I mean, the balloon wars, it's kind of silly, but it could be worse. At least it's just balloons.
Here's NPR with more on the latest developments.
South Korea announced Monday it'll suspend a rapprochement deal with North Korea to punish it over its launches of trash-carrying balloons, even after the North said it would halt its balloon campaign. Over several days, North Korea flew hundreds of balloons to drop trash and manure on South Korea in an angry reaction against previous South Korean civilian leafleting campaigns. On Monday, South Korea's Presidential National Security Council said it has decided to suspend a 2018 inter-Korean agreement aimed at easing frontline animosities until mutual trust between the two Koreas is restored, according to the presidential office. The Security Council said that the suspension would allow South Korea to resume military drills near the border with North Korea and take effective, immediate responses to provocations by North Korea. It said a proposal on the suspension would be introduced at the Cabinet Council on Tuesday for approval.
I hate to say this, I am on North Korea's side here. The South started.
I
mean, nobody was talking about Korean balloons until these people down there. And
they were doing it for a good reason.
And okay, yes, but they're still literally, if you want to break it down to what it is, sending unwanted fucking garbage into another country. And North Korea sent hundreds of balloons. Like, they've been sending.
Look out the trash.
We covered that interview with one of the guys behind this. He's sending 5,000 balloons at a time. So it's this is all fucking stupid. But
you can see why they would.
I feel like North Korea is kind of in the right here, and it's fucked up for the South to be like, oh my God, North Korea is sending balloons into our country? Shut up.
Yeah, and the result is if those military drills and stuff keep happening, it's only going to piss North Korea off even further.
This is dumb. We need Trump back in office so he can go back to North Korea, talk to his good buddy Kim.
He's gonna give him a Mickey Mouse balloon, a really friendly American branded balloon. That'll be the gift that brings the two countries together.
Yeah.
God, a heart-shaped balloon. That's what they really need.
That's so dumb.
Why isn't Banksy over there painting the girl with the balloon all over the place? It can really help them.
They did have a couple decent years there where they were at least talking to each other. This just sucks.
One South Korean guy gets covered in cow shit, and it's more back on the table.
And like I said in the other episode, Free cow manure?
Hey,
that shit's
fertilizer.
not cheap.
No.
Anyway, it continues. Observers
Enemy
say
cruise,
South Korea
go,
needs the
let's go.
deal's suspension
Take
to
'em
restart
back.
blasting
Our cruise moving on
anti-Pyongyang
zone
propaganda
A.
broadcasts, K-pop songs, and outside news from border loudspeakers. They say such broadcasts have previously stung in the rigidly controlled world, where most of its 26 million people are not allowed official access to foreign news. The 2018 deal has already been in the danger of collapsing. Tensions spiked after North Korea's spy satellite launch last November prompted both Koreas to take steps in breach of the accord. South Korea resuming frontline aerial surveillance and North Korea restoring border guard posts. Since last Tuesday, a total of about 1,000 North Korean balloons carrying manure, cigarette butts, scraps of cloth, and waste paper have been discovered in various parts of South Korea. No hazardous substances were found, according to South Korea's military. On Sunday night, Kim Kang-il, a North Korean vice defense minister, said the North would stop its balloon campaign because it left the South Koreans with enough experience of how unpleasant they feel. He said North Korea will fly balloons again if South Korean activists restart their own balloon activities. Like I said, it's tit for tat. Yeah, this was a tit for tat, and the South has just decided, like, oh, well, you just escalated. It's like, no, they actually didn't.
It is funny to think about, like, this insane regime in North Korea, and then being like, well, how do you like it? On something as simple as, like, a prank. It's basically a prank. This happened in the brilliant movie Men at Work.
This is like...
They filled that guy's locker with a balloon filled with crap, and look what that started.
This is like someone toilet papers your house, the next night you go toilet paper their house, they're like, oh,
They burn your house down after
fucking war. It's like, wait, what?
Hold on. They should do like in The Simpsons, where they put the sign up that says 2 bad neighbors. But it's on their house, they're like, wait, who's the bad neighbors? Classic episode with George Bush in it. Honestly, these balloons, the balloon wars, I mean, let's be honest, they are at least better than the alternative.
I'll take balloons over the other stuff, absolutely.
But it has undoubtedly raised tensions between the two countries.
For the dumbest reason.
This is a prank war that could escalate into a world war.
Yeah, I hope these pranks don't go sexy or go wrong. Or go in the hood.
They better not step on anyone's shoes. What was the one guy's name that used to do that?
Tell somebody!
Sam Pepper?
Team me up!
No, he kidnapped a guy. Anyways,
Joey Salads?
Hey, how was that political run you had?
I feel like I checked on Joey Salads like 6 months ago because it just randomly like popped in my head. I'm like, what's he up to? And it seems like he's not up to anything, which is interesting.
Okay.
So that's almost scarier than like.
We're on A.
What's
he planning?
What? Because he's up to something, but now we can't see. Anyway, meanwhile, here in the United States, we embrace the feces.
Yeah.
Yum, yum, yum.
We got it. Got bad guys on A.
Not like that, Elkins.
So much so that a new museum has opened over in Arizona that specializes in exactly that. Shit. It's called the Poo-zeum. And despite the name and the topic, it's actually pretty interesting.
Yeah, cool.
He's got enemies.
And we're only really talking about it because it's a nice peaceful lead-in from our last
We ain't
story.
winning it.
And there's something specifically American about opening a museum dedicated to shit.
Yeah.
Here's CNN with more of the Poo-zeum.
It's also just a good name. If you got a good name for a product or a brand, you got them.
They shut down the Newseum several years ago, but hey,
which was a real
Get
shame.
on the
we got the Poo-zeum.
One of my favorite museums that I had ever been to.
What should you do when you have the world's largest collection of fossilized poo? Open a Poo-zeum, of course. At least that's what George Franson has dubbed the newly opened museum in Williams, Arizona, which offers visitors free access to the approximately 8,000 pieces that make up his coprolite collection, better known as fossilized poo. Initially, many people react with a yuck face or laughter when they first hear about the Poo-zeum.
Guilty.
However, after witnessing the collection, their reactions often shift to shock at the diverse and intriguing nature of coprolites. Franson told Guinness World Records, yeah, I'm sure that everyone... You know, actually, you're right.
I learned a lot today.
Fossilized poo is pretty cool.
Given that most people have little to no experience with coprolites, it's enjoyable to introduce them to this fascinating world and share the wonders they hold. It's really like the promo for that Willy Wonka.
Yeah.
Come visit the wonders at the Poo-zeum. Except here you get exactly what it's at.
Yeah.
He initially founded the museum as an online resource center in 2014. He created a traveling fossilized poop exhibition to be displayed in museums across the U.S. when he realized they were often not displayed in mainstream places. The enthusiastic response from visitors to these temporary exhibits highlighted the demand for a dedicated space where coprolites could be prominently showcased and their scientific significance thoroughly explored, Franzen added. There, visitors can view pieces like the largest fossilized poop by a carnivorous animal, which measures 26.6 inches by 6.2 inches and likely came from Tyrannosaurus rex. Now what's cool, Elliot? Because that sounds pretty cool to me.
That is one big pile of shit.
It ain't over till it's over.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure it's all
And
over
I'd like
for
to
your
see
crew.
that's many cures.
Riprap on A.
Worth of shit.
Yeah, I'm assuming it looks like
Well, more like a rock.
yes, it
Because
is
it's fossilized. But I will say, one of my core memories as a child was going to, no, it's not that bad, was going to, like one of those hands-on museums that the kids all go to.
Yeah.
And I specifically remember the fossilized poo because they labeled it as shit. And I was so young that I was like,
We're on C.
Teacher, there's a naughty word. I didn't call it teacher, but I did laugh about it above my head, and I remember it. So it did have an effect on me. Yeah, and that was the day I realized that God wasn't real.
Sounds like you
Don't
need
quit
to
your day
get in the
job,
car and
Hollywood.
start heading east. Beautiful Arizona.
It is close to the Grand Canyon, which I have never seen in person outside of an airplane.
I have not either.
I've flown over it and looked down because the pilot
It looks
usually says,
crazy from an airplane.
we're so close. We should go see it sometime.
But speaking of things that are shitty and absolutely not fun at all, data breaches. And one of the country's most hated corporations, they just got hit with one.
Oops.
Unfortunately, aside from making them look even worse, this actually just affects all of their customers in what has become a never-ending cycle of consumer information being stolen and sold on the dark web. We're talking about Ticketmaster.
Yeah.
Which means basically anyone who has purchased tickets to a major event in recent years is probably affected by this because, as we're all aware, they have a near monopoly on like the entire live entertainment industry. You can't see a show without going to Ticketmaster. Seems like yet another good reason to break them up.
Mm-hmm. Smash.
Also, yes, it's fucked up that hackers keep targeting the consumer, considering we're basically forced to use these products, or in the case of Equifax, literally forced.
Yeah.
You would think that some hackers would want to focus solely on the corporation itself. Ah, well, nevertheless, here's the BBC with the details.
Ticketmaster owner Live Nation confirmed unauthorized activity on its database after a group of hackers said they had stolen the personal details of 560 million customers.
Cool, that's more people than live in the United States of America.
Shiny Hunters, the group claiming responsibility, says the stolen data includes names, addresses, phone numbers, and partial credit card details from Ticketmaster users worldwide. The hacking group is reportedly demanding a $500,000 ransom payment to prevent the data from being sold to other parties. In a filing to the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, Live Nation said that on May 27th, a criminal threat actor offered what it alleged to be company user data for sale via the dark web, and that it was investigating. The number of customers affected by the data breach has not been confirmed by Live Nation. In its filing, Live Nation said it was working to mitigate risk to its customers and that it was notifying users about the unauthorized access to their personal information. And if we know anything about the track record of when this happens, at the very best, we're gonna get coupon codes for shows that no one else wants to see, and at the very worst, they're gonna be like, we're doing it, we're giving everyone a 1-month trial to what is now a completely useless identity theft service. Enjoy, everyone.
Cool. But yeah, according to initial reports, it appeared to be an attack on the cloud storage service that's used by Ticketmaster called Snowflake.
What a great name.
And that the hackers used stolen credentials to access internal management systems. But a recent joint statement from local internet security companies and Snowflake themselves claims that their platform is not at fault. Here's The Verge. A joint statement with CrowdStrike and Mandiant, two third-party security companies investigating the incident, lends additional credibility to the claim. Also, an earlier third-party report saying bad actors generated session code that may have compromised hundreds of Snowflake accounts has now been removed. The post from Snowflake says, to date, we do not believe this activity is caused by any vulnerability, misconfiguration, or malicious activity within the Snowflake product. Throughout the course of our ongoing investigation, we have promptly informed a limited number of customers who we believe may have been impacted. Joint statement says the attacks appear to be a targeted campaign focused on accounts without multi-factor authentication. Oh. But hey, luckily we can all just use another ticketing service in protest.
That's right.
No, we can't. Ticketmaster controls 80% of the live music market. They own a majority of U.S. venues. That's all we got. So that's cool. Thanks. Great.
Well, finally today, we all owe a very big apology to Corey Harris, the man who inexplicably dialed into a Zoom hearing with his local court while actively driving while having allegedly a suspended driver's license.
What an idiot.
So despite
Send that man to jail. Lock him up.
Despite the video being very funny because of the irony of if it was happening, driving on a suspended license while video calling
what a moron
into court, his license was not suspended at the time. He was the victim of a clerical error.
I'm just now learning this.
What do you mean the courts are horrifically antiquated in all of their operational systems? And they make mistakes like this all the fucking time.
That would explain the sort of flagrant nature
the nonchalance of it all.
And the look of absolute confusion and shock on his face.
Oh my God. Yeah, I mean,
that does that, yeah.
He had apparently had his license back for 2 years at this point.
Yeah, well, yeah. That does change things.
Uh-huh. Here's Complex with the latest. As reported by WXYZ, Harris, 44, was shocked when he was charged with driving while his license was suspended because a judge ordered that suspension to be lifted in January of 2022. The suspension was in connection to a child support case with Saginaw County Friends of the Court, but for whatever reason, the Michigan Secretary of State's office never received the news that Harris's suspension was to be lifted. Aw, geez. We're potentially going to ruin someone's life again because we made a big oopsie.
Whoops. What was I thinking? I was thinking about getting my wife medical help. That's what I was thinking, Harris said. They were supposed to have been lifted 2 years ago, but they didn't. It's very embarrassing. With the type of ties that I have with the church and the community, it's very embarrassing. In the now viral court video, Harris is seen attending a hearing for driving with his license suspended in October 2023 while he was actually driving. Michigan Judge Cedric Simpson was surprised when he saw Harris driving because his file showed that he still had a suspended license. Mr. Harris, are you driving? Simpson asked Harris. Actually, I'm pulling into my doctor's office, so just give me 1 second. I'm parking right now, he replied. Harris had his bond revoked and was ordered to turn himself in to the county jail that same day. He's now looking to get to the bottom of why the Secretary of State's office never received confirmation the suspension was rescinded in January 2022. Do we know if he ended up going to jail or like...
I mean, this was all, it seemed like it was resolved somewhat quickly, but I'm sure that it was not fun at all.
It didn't make the news for like almost a full week.
Yeah, so maybe the viral video was helped this get moved forward. I mean, it's a lot of bad publicity. So, I don't know, this just sucks. And like, this is actually pretty low on the scale of horrific things that have happened because of clerical errors with the courts.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Zone B is
Apologies
vulnerable.
to that guy.
Yeah. Whoops.
From the courts.
Yeah, I did nothing wrong. I read the news.
Yeah, in fact, our reporting probably helped to move this
I did
along.
everything right. I apologize on behalf of the Michigan court system.
That's right.
The corrupt Michigan court system.
Unfair. And just fucking horrible.
And the corrupt local Michigan media who failed to
do their due diligence.
Yeah.
This is a rough op, but you're a pro. You'll bounce back.
Yeah. Anyways, that's it for this for today's episode. We'll be back with plenty more tech news, including the fact that Musk is just like, hey, we're a porn site.
Yeah.
Fun stuff. Plus a lot more. We'll have that coming up in a day or two. But in the meantime, make sure you like the video. Make sure you comment on the video. Make sure you're subscribed to our channel. We're about to get
We're on track for mission success.
subscribers.
Keep it up.
And Elliot, are you going to shave your beard?
Yeah.
Yeah, your beard. He's going to shave his beard. Gone. And his bald. Once
Take
Manscaped
the
sponsors the
zones,
show.
keep the zones. You know the
film
mission.
it, yeah, and get our channel shut down.
Friendly's moving on C.
Yeah, that's how we celebrate 300K. No more channels.
That's right.
Suspended for balls.
If you're feeling frisky, like Elliot apparently is, go ahead and hit the thank button or the join button. We really appreciate it, and we love all the comments we see as well. people doing that down there. In the meantime, we have a brand new episode of Weekly Weird News, which goes into way more detail about all those poo balloons and plenty of other fun stuff to talk about.
They can run, but hiding might
and
be a
also,
problem.
if you missed it, just a celebration. A joyous video of when Trump was actually moments after being convicted of 34 felonies. You can feel the joy on that video. So check both of those out. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Zone contested. We're losing Zone A.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, baby. I did everything right.
And they convicted you.
Oh, folks, we're not gonna waste any time. Former president and current felon Donald J. Trump was found guilty on all 34.
On every count.
34 counts, baby! And this is, of course, related to the hush money trial in New York City. And for the first time in his life, old Donnie Trump was not able to wriggle his way out of this one. Though we will see if anything actually happens.
Contested.
Because sentencing isn't until July 11th. And we're not sure if this will have any effect on his campaign to become the president once again.
In fact, if anything, it might help.
So we're taking this as a very, very funny win, and we're just going to enjoy ourselves for a second.
The analysts predict you're close to winning.
It's so rare that we get these small victories, and it's good to acknowledge.
This is a rare victory, and also just like a historic event. This has never happened.
Yeah, quite literally unprecedented.
We've never had a former and future president convicted of a crime.
Yes, and also a very
Engaging
fun day to
camo.
be Yeah, so let's just ask you. Hopefully get back in the news since by the time the video goes up, it will have been a few hours. Here's a wonderful supercut of the verdict being read on CNN, cut by our friend. Here you go.
Count one is guilty. 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 Another felony charge. Guilty. 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 Count 34. Guilty.
You notched a win.
Honestly, Thursday was arguably the most fun day on the internet since Trump got COVID. And it was truly a joy to witness it live. Just especially all the people puffing that cocoa.
The copium was great. Also, it seemed like everyone online was happy to give libs a pass to enjoy themselves for a moment.
Let them have a nice day.
If you've got MSNBC parents, give them a call. They're probably
Yeah, I know what you are. I'm not, but you are. Yeah, I am. You don't know who I am. That's right.
Yeah, but in case you somehow missed all the news and memes, we will scoop some of those up to show you, but it's obviously hard to keep track because the timeline was basically on fire for hours after the verdict. I'm sure Linda Yaccarino in the next 24 hours will let us know how much the impressions were up.
Wow!
It all happens on X. So first, the actual news. Donald Trump is now the first president in United States history to become a convicted felon. We all witnessed history today, or in the words of one poster, babe, wake up, new unprecedented times. So